Historians still wonder what caused the bizarre behavior that led 8 young girls to be suspected of demonic possession and witchcraft during the winter of 1691 in Salem, Massachusetts. One girl after another went into convulsions, babbled incoherently, and complained of creepy skin sensations. Doctors could find nothing wrong with them, and the best explanation medical science had to offer was that a witch cast a spell over the girls. Almost 300 years later, a researcher had another idea. Ergot, the toxic fungus that infects rye and contaminates bread, could explain the girls' bizarre behavior. Ergot is a parasitic fungus that attaches itself to a flowering cereal grass like rye or wheat. It flourishes in damp conditions and possesses the special trick of being able to mimic the very grain it has infected. It forms a hardened mass called a sclerotium on its host and can nurture dormant spores until the conditions are just right to release them. Millions of ergot spores can be harvested right along with the rye or wheat crop, and the bread produced from those grains can contain enough of the fungus to infect whoever eats it, including some young girls living in Salem during a particularly damp winter. The alkaloids in ergot constrict blood vessels, causing seizures, nausea, uterine contractions, and eventually gangrene and death. Long before Albert Hofmann extracted lysergic acid from ergot to make LSD, people infected with ergotism had bad LSD-like trips of their own. Hysteria, hallucinations, and a feeling that something is crawling on the skin are all signs of ergot poisoning. Records going back to the Middle Ages show that from time to time, an entire village would succumb to mysterious illness. Villagers would dance in the streets, go into convulsions, and eventually collapse. This dancing mania was also sometimes called St. Anthony's Fire, a possible reference to the awful burning sensations victims felt, and the eventual gangrenous blisters and peeling skin. The disease is believed to have killed over 50,000 people during that time. Even livestock were not safe. When cows were fed the infected grains, they lost their hooves, tails, and even their ears before they died. The relationship between these strange behaviors and ergot infestation had only just been discovered in Europe when the Salem witch trials began, but it is unlikely that news of this breakthrough would have reached the colonies. Eventually, 19 people went to the gallows for the crime of casting spells on the girls. They protested their innocence all the way. If only someone had thought to question the town baker. Judging from weather records, crop reports, the girls' symptoms, and the fact that the hysteria stopped almost as abruptly as it started, it is entirely possible that the whole event was caused by an outbreak of ergot brought on by an unusually wet winter.